I had always had that feeling that food and languages, they are two things that people gather together with and communicate with. I have both talents. That's why I just took them both, and I can't let go of any of them. I teach cooking because it's a one way to socialize. Firstly, I do make friends with doing the classes, and I meet new people. I learn from other people, and I transfer the skills that I learned. So there are some things that you can't really find in the books, and if you learn them through each other, that's the more important than learning from a book. I learned this from my mom and my auntie and my grandma. She was a cook, my granddad as well. It's taking that knowledge and that heritage and give that knowledge to other people, and having the opportunity to do it in England and internationally, it's really a very good opportunity. So skills for life, really, and anything, like, you don't really think about it when I was young. I was just doing it because I had to do it, and the more you know, the more you have opportunities, and the more you flourish, really. That's why anybody who's got any skill that they would like to share, you go for it, and what it takes to make it work for you. The skills, they can go from generation to generation. They can be handled out to one or to more than one. It's something that they can be transferred. They can help people to integrate, to know the culture where I am living, and that's really very important to me.
All of these skills, regardless, from mat making to quilting to everything, should be kept going. There's going to be a time when we're going to need all of them. You do something a lot of years ago, and then all of a sudden they've gone out of fashion, and then all of a sudden they're all back in fashion. It's always been a case of what goes round comes round. I'm old enough to know. It's as simple as that. If I want to unwind, all I have to do is pick up my pillow. I found out that I could do needle lace by the lady I'd met here. And we went to a Lace Guild AGM. We met a young lady there, and she must have picked it up on the website that there was lace making going on at the Shipley, so she just turned up and said that she wanted to learn. She would be pleased if I could show her what to do, which I did, and she made one or two pieces, and she was very, very good. She had the initiative of wanting to do something for our CV. That same lady is now a teacher with the Lace Guild, making bobbin lace, and that's an achievement to me, that I inspired somebody to do something and she's progressed. And I've had several people have come to the Shipley for the same reason. I think it's great that we can get some youngsters to carry on the craft, because they're few and far between. I get people that come who have no idea who they are at all, get to know them very well, and then we become friends, and then they pass what I'm teaching them, they're passing it on to their grandchildren and other people. It's a sense of achievement to all lace makers who can pass the craft on and hope to sustain it.
Somebody from a Gen 2 housing says there were some adult men who never got out of the house. They'd lost their wives and they were depressed, and can we do something about them? And we says, yeah, we'll take them fishing. We started off with 2, and then at the most we've had 17, and that was 6-7 years ago.
8.
8 years ago.
It gets them out of the house for a start, right? They're learning something, right? They've got plenty of fresh air, right? The camaraderie, they meet different people. The best news with these is like, so if one doesn't turn up, they're on the phone to them, right? Especially during the pandemic, they were each talking to each other, making sure everybody was all right.
That's how we do. That's all we do is have a banter.
We still get excited when we catch a fish, and that's like 50 years. So it never goes. Everybody who catches a fish is excited. Dave's just pulled a fish in there, and it's made his day. You know, even though he's waited 3 hours to catch it, but you got a day like this, and it's a pleasure to be out.
Fishing's, it's an art. Eventually it's a skill, right? But you can pass that down to your grandkids, right? And they can pass it down to their kids. And then that can get passed on for future generations.
I've had all my grandchildren down. His grandchildren all fished.
If nobody does it, they'll just die out, you know what I mean? And that they'll be forgetting about.
You've got to show the modern generation what it's like to be hands-on. Because everything now is given to you on a plate. We get a fish, you take it home, fillet it, do it in the oven, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's just, you've got to get them to learn.
You can see the happiness on the face when they catch a fish, you know what I mean? You know, when a kid catches a fish, the hook, it's not a pump of the hook for life, you know what I mean? Oh, we want to do that again. So you might get one kid come down, never done it in his life, catch a fish, right? Oh, can I come next time?
We have anglers in our club who we've seen them grow from that big to married men, and they're bringing their kids down. And it's like a lifespan of 25 years. It's great, we've seen it, and it's great when you watch them.
If he catches a fish, I'm going to be good at it. Because we always try to say, like, we beat the fishermen, and we call Joe and Bob the fishermen.
I hooked into his cord, and that far off, getting it on the pier, that far off, wiggled, snap, and away. And it was exactly 7 pounds 8 ounces.
How did you know?
With scales on its back. Yeah. Eh?
Fishing story. No fisherman tells the truth.
I remember coming to Lime Street kind of as a visitor before I had my own first studio, and kind of just being excited at kind of turning a corner and being able to look into different people's workshops and seeing how they worked and seeing what they're making. I'm a textile artist based in Newcastle. It's something I've always done. I kind of joke about how I must have learnt it through osmosis. My mum always kind of knitted and crocheted, so she taught me how to do things. Both my nans sewed, so even in my studio I still have some of their sewing machines and things like that. This is something I feel quite strongly about, actually. These things should be part of our upbringing and also part of our culture. These are things that we've, always had there, kind of skills to make your clothes, to make decorations so that where you live is nicer than what it could be. I think there's the enjoyment of making, being able to learn how to make something for yourself or for somebody else, which is just great in itself anyway. And there's also very much the kind of mindfulness of it, when you're making things, it's very much a relaxing process, and you often lose yourself within it. The one wonderful thing about doing textiles is it's varied. I might do workshops where I'm teaching hooky and proggy matting, which is, as I say, is a traditional northeast technique, which people are keen to learn how to do it, and you don't, again, need many tools and things. Work and things is becoming more technology based. It's nice to take a step back from that and actually do something that's requiring your hands and materials, and it kind of slows you down. You don't need to kind of go out and spend a lot of money on materials. You don't need a lot of equipment. A lot of things in my studio, many of the boxes are actually full of my kids' old clothes. So there is that thing about kind of kids learning the skills that you learn through being creative, which is sometimes about making mistakes and knowing that actually a mistake isn't a problem, but you also learn how to problem solve, which in a lot of jobs you need to be able to do. You know, because often there's been times when I've kind of taught like 10-week courses, the things that people have achieved, you know, kind of not just in the session, but then taken them away, continued with, and by the end of the time kind of have achieved something quite beautiful. And then you can see that it's something they're going to carry on with, and as a skill that maybe they might then themselves kind of continue to pass on to other people.
Our business has been here 100 years, and it all started in the First World War. My grandfather was taught as a blacksmith, and he taught my father taught me, and now I'm teaching my daughter. I had no delusions of any other trade. It's the way I want to go. Well, my father was just a general blacksmith and mainly a farrier, horseshoer. I just like the idea of working metal. When you're younger, you don't think of that, you know, learning a skill from your father. My grandfather, he was retired, but he was still alive when I was a young lad. So I used to hang around this blacksmith shop with my grandfather, and we used to play on the fire most days. I know now he was showing us many different techniques, but at the time we were just playing. So I really had a good forward start when I started in the business. Ashley, she started working with us now, and I keep getting panic attacks because there's that much I've got to show her and want to show her. I think, have I actually got time in 10 years? You don't realise yourself how much you have to pass on till you actually sit down and start doing it.
To think that we're in the same forge that my great-grandfather worked in, it just, I mean, you can see it's filled with atmosphere. It's hard to forget where we've come from.
My dad's strengths are he's very focused on how things are made, the detail of how we produce the work, and that is so important, whereas I'm very focused on design. I'm very particular on the finer little details. So I think our two strengths really complement each other in that way.
I don't know what it is, but I can guarantee most people who will have a go at just heating up a bit of metal and hammering it, they'll keep doing it for the rest of their lives. It's something that's very addictive. You're putting the metal in the fire, it's unpredictable what you've got to pull out, but that's part of the magic of it. Definitely no secrecy in blacksmithing. If you discover a little handy technique or whatever, you know, you show everybody, you know, you can't wait really. And now with the media, yeah, it's getting even easier. Put it online on Instagram and show even more people, you know, your techniques. I don't want to retire thinking I'm taking all these skills away with us. This workshop here, it would be a disaster if it wasn't still a working blacksmith shop.
I would hate to see it go. I would hate to see blacksmithing die out. It would be such a shame and such a loss. I guess that big encouragement to show people that it doesn't have to be old-fashioned, it doesn't have to be traditional. You can create amazing pieces of artwork. Just to show people what it can do is the start, I guess.